All right, here's the next one. The Kahuna Group. Hey, this one, get your calculators out. All right, I'll read it out loud. We're listing at 750. Good job, Love Deep. Average days in the market are 10. We're at 15. The house is shiny penny. I don't know why I'm saying like I'm reading a children's book. 3-year-old HVAC and water heater, 4-year-old roof. The market just it got caliente, which if you guys don't know, it's hot. There's 4 offers. There's an escalation clause on some of them. And with an escalation clause now, after August 17th, we have to factor in the buyer's compensation request as well as a subsidy. Very different. Back then, it was just subsidy and that's it. Now we have to factor in both. So here are the offers. 720 FHA, void home inspection, 2% subsidy, 2.5% buyer compensation, regular financing, appraisal, 30-day closing. Second one, 735 VA escalates to 750, and the escalation clause says they're going to net 5,000 over the next highest net, or whatever the actual term is. So full home inspection, they're asking for a 1.5% subsidy. It's 3% buyer compensation, regular financing and appraisal, 30-day close, and the escalation retains appraisal. Next one, 745 full home inspection, 1 3/4 subsidy. I made it real difficult. 2.5 buyer, regular financing and appraisal, and a random 25-day closing. Last one, 725, but escalates to 790 with 5,000 net over the next one. Void only, 0% subsidy, 2.5% buyer compensation, 30-day close, escalation retains appraisal. So get Ange. You're gonna say something.
It's all you.
So escalation is the seller is offering a sales price, but saying if there's anything that nets the seller higher than that what their net is to the seller, that they're willing to go up to a certain price as long as it nets X amount higher than that biggest net. So really, I'm pretty sure Thomas can probably articulate it a little better. So in this case, right, the second offer says, hey, we're offering you 735, but there if the other best offer nets 5,000 at 735 with 1.5% subsidy and 3% buyer compensation, whatever the seller nets from that, if ours is not the best, we're gonna raise our sales price so that we net 5,000 over that next highest and best. I don't know if that's explaining.
Okay, no, yeah, okay.
Okay. You know I'm not good at explanation.
Yeah, no, I got you.
He said I got you. Okay, so this one involves, and I will tell you, this is something that I actually just went through, where it was 3 offers, 1 escalation, and they were all under list price. It happens. It happens. So what is the first thing we probably should be doing?
I would definitely use the bottom, the 2 conventional, and I would use the 725 to escalate up to 750 using the 745.
Sorry, did you guys hear? I couldn't hear Love Deep. Say it again, bro.
Sorry. So I would use the bottom 2 conventional ones, and I would use the 725 to escalate the 745. Or sorry, I would use the 745 to escalate the 725 to 750 because they said they'll go up 5,000 above whatever the highest one is.
The net. It has the net. Yes.
Okay.
So how do we know then in that case? What is probably the first thing we should be doing to know what is the highest net?
You would have to calculate the buyer's compensation and the subsidy for the other one.
Yes. So for each one, so example, if it's a 720, essentially they're asking for 4.5% closing costs, right? You guys see that for the first one. 2%, 2.5% buyer compensation. So what did I write? 17. So 720. So that's 4%. So how do we find out what's the net of that? Anyone? How do we find out if the first one is 4.5%? I'm sorry. That 4.5%, right? So how do I find out what's the net of 720 after the 4.5% is being utilized or is being taken out?
So I calculated 32,400.
32,000. So now we can minus that from 720, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or what I just did is just from 100 minus 4.5 is what? 5.5? Is that right? No. What did you say? I'm sorry. See, this is what was it minus what? What did you say, Arnold? I'm sorry, brother. 720 minus
Minus
32.
32.4. 30.
Okay, so Chase already has it for 680. Thank you, Chase, because I'm here. 680. Where did it go?
687.6.
Okay, so now we know 687, 600 is one net, right? That's from the first one. So how do we figure out what's the second net? It's you got to use the sales price, not the escalation yet, because doesn't kick in until we know what the net is at the sales price amount. So 735. What is that total? 4.5 subsidy. I mean, in terms of closing costs, right? I'll just wait for Chase to give me the answer. Sorry. It's almost my nap time. Unless someone else has it before him.
Is that 701,925? Is that right?
I don't know. I'm still doing. I keep hitting the wrong buttons.
I got 702.6.
Oh, okay, I'm off then. Let's see.
Four-
Maybe I'm wrong.
That's 4.5.
I got
Right?
7019252.
There we go.
Oh, okay, I may be wrong.
701,925. All right, thanks, Chase. Next one, Chase. 745. He's doing like 18 other things. 745, and then one. Why did I use? Why couldn't I use more easier numbers? 4.25. We'll just wait for Chase again. So far we're on number 3, right? We have the second one nets at its value that amount. So technically the second to the first one, it doesn't need the contingency, or the escalation doesn't kick in just based off of that face value. I mean the first one. 718. He's like Chat GPT for us. Thank you. So the third one, we got 718,125. So now it looks like that would kick. Now we got the third one. I mean, the last one. This one's pretty. 725. I got 706,875. Is that right, Chase? Do you guys understand how we got those numbers? Okay, 706. Yep, that's what I got. Do you guys all understand how we got those numbers?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So essentially, whatever is a subsidy, what is that the total buyer compensation and subsidy? What is that percentage? Then minus that, of the sales price, then minus that. Or if you do the reverse, times that by the difference of the subsidy minus 100. Okay, so we have 687, and I'm looking at Chase's nice diagram on the side. 687, 600, 701, 925, 718, 125, 706, 875. So what do we do there next? Thank you, Chase. What do we do there next?
So then you would get the highest two and escalate from the low one to the bigger one.
So right now, which one is the highest net?
The 718,
And that's
125, the third
the
one.
third one, right? Okay. I was like, I wrote it, but I don't know what the hell I'm writing. Okay, so the third one has the highest net. Now, how do we what would be how would the when we talk about the 5,000, it has to be, how does that relate to the 718 125? The escalation has to, damn it, I wish I can articulate better. And how do you articulate? You know what I'm saying, Ange? Say it for me, please. Just pretend you're writing something.
No, I'm in the nap stage, Steve. So I'm sorry.
Me too. That's why I can't talk either. Well, after a nap for everyone around the horn. So basically, we want the escalation says that the best they want to net 5,000 over whatever is the best. So the best is 718 125. The
Why do you get
escalation
718 125 on 745? I've done it 5 times now. I keep getting 713 337
so
on the 745 with 4.25%. Am I missing something? 745 minus 4.25%.
745. Ooh, wrong way. 745. It was 4.25, right?
Yeah.
Times 4.25. That's, whoa, what am I doing? Wrong one. 745.
Yeah.
4.25. That's 31,662.5.
Yeah.
Minus 745. I got 7. Oh, yeah. What did you get?
713 337.
Yeah, that's what I got. There's a typo. I got that too. Chase, did you get that?
I got the same thing.
Okay. The one job. No, I'm kidding. So I'm kidding.
I thought my math, I just kept doing no problem. Okay, I was going crazy. I was like, I can't. Something's wrong.
We're not moving forward until we figure it out. Okay. So 713, 337, 50.
Right.
Okay. That's such a weird number. Okay. So, but that's still the highest, right? So the next Chase, oops. So the escalation says, I'm going to win this by going 5,000 over that net. So what would be the winning net number? 5,000 over the highest net now, which is 713, 337.50 would be 718, 337.50. 337.50. Now, in order for the highest offer to net that amount more, let's look at the first one. The first one's net is 687,600. How can that get to 718, 337.50? How much higher does that have to go? It's a lot of math in these.
30,737.
So add that to the sales price since you're doing it. I'm sorry. Whoa. Okay. Sorry. Okay. It's 701 is the escalation, right? The 701 net right now is for number 2 offer. And 70 in order to get to 70, I said the wrong one. In order for 701 925 to get to 718 337.50, how much is that? What is the difference of that?
16,412.50.
Okay. So let's add that to 735. That's 16,000. Add that to the
16,412 50 to 735. 751,412.
Oh, but what does it escalate max up to? 750. So even escalating it max to 750, it still doesn't beat it, right? Because the contract says it has to net 5,000 over the next best net. Does that make sense? Because in order for that second offer, right now, that second offer nets 701,925. The best offer, again, all on face, was the 713, 337.50. So that second offer's escalation says it's going to net $5,000 more than the winning offer, which would net 718, 337.50. So in order for the escalating offer to net 718, the difference of that, we have to add that to the sales price. But if the sales price escalates up to 750, I mean, they're like close to it, but they're not technically $5,000 more, right? It would be what, 717 or something. Does that make sense? I want to make sure before that everyone questions on that. Any questions on that? I know I'm going longer.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we know then. Okay, so now let's look at what's the next escalation. Is 706,875, right? That's the net of the last offer. Am I right? Because I have a bunch of numbers. That last offer's face net. Okay, thank you. Because I was like, okay, so that's 7. So how do we get from 706,875 to 718, 337.50? What is that difference? And then add that to the 725 sales price. I was hoping someone was going to do it.
Us too.
Say that again and I'll do it.
Okay, thank you. So do 718, 337.50 minus 706, 875.
713, right? Not 718.
Well, so 713 is what the net was of the high. So then it needs to net 5,000 above that. According to
you're right. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good, brother. You're good. No, good. Because, dude, if you can read, because I can't read when I'm writing. So I may have been wrong.
The difference is 11,460.
So now we can add that to the sales price. Of 725. That 11,000, whatever you said. How much was that, Arnold? If you don't mind, please, sir.
11,460.
So let's add that to 725. 725 plus 11,460.
Yes.
736,460. So is that the winning offer? Can it escalate up to there? Or should they go with just another offer? Should we go with the 745? No, never mind. Never mind. Because that's still that, and that's the thing is, if you look at all the nets, because the 7, that would net the highest out of all of them, and it only escalates still to 736,460. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.